You say you would fain be taken for an eminent courtier?
This the very main of my ambition.
Let me see. You have a reasonable good face for it already, and your nightcap expresses your air sufficiently largely. I would have you learn to twirl the strings of your band with a good grace, and in a set speech at the end of every sentence to hum 3 or 4 times, or blow your nose till it's smart again, to recover your memory. When you come to be a president in a criminal causes, if you smile upon a prisoner, hang him. But if you frown upon him and threaten him, let him be sure to escape the gallows.
I would be a very merry president.
Do not supponight. 'Twill beget you an admirable wit.
Rather, it would make me have a good stomach to quarrel, for they say your roaring boys eat meat seldom, and that makes them so valiant. But how shall I know whether the people take me for an eminent fellow?
I'll teach you a trick to know it. Give out you lie a dying, and if you hear the common people curse you, be sure you are taken for one of the prime nightcaps. Enter an old lady. You come from painting now?
From what?
Why, from your scurvy face physic, to behold thee not painted inclined somewhat near a miracle. These and thy faces here were deep ruts and foul sloughs, the last progress. There was a lady in France that, having had the smallpox, flayed the skin off her face to make it more level. And whereas before she looked like a nutmeg grater, after she resembled an oboe hedgehog.
Do you call this painting?
No, no, but you call it careening of an old morphewed lady to make her disembowel again. There is rough cast phrase to your plastic.
It seems you're well acquainted with my closet.
One would suspect it. One would suspect it for a shop of witchcraft, to find in it the fat of serpents, spawn of snakes, Jews' spittle, and their young children's order, and all these for the face. I would sooner eat a dead pigeon taken from the soles of the feet of one sick of the plague than kiss one of you fasting. Here are two of you, whose sin of your youth is the very patrimony of the physician. Makes him renew his footcloth with the spring, and change his high priced courtesan with the fall of the leaf. I do wonder you do not loathe yourselves. Observe my meditation now. What thing is in this outward form of man to be beloved? We account it ominous. If nature do produce a colt, or lamb, or fawn, or goat, in any limb resembling a man, and fly from it as a prodigy, man stands amazed to see his deformity in any other creature but himself. But in our own flesh, though we bear diseases which have their true names only taken from beasts, as the most ulcerous wolf, the swinish measle, though we are eaten up of lice and worms, and though continually we bear about it a rotten and dead body, we delight to hide it in rich tissue. All our fear, nay, all our terror is least our physician should put us in the ground to be made sweet. Your wife has gone to Rome, you two couple, and get you to the wells at Lucca to recover your aches. I have other work on foot. Exeunt Castruccio and old lady. I observe our Duchess's sick days. She pukes, her stomach seethes, the fins of her eyelids look more steaming blue. She wanes in the cheek and waxes fat in the flank, and, contrary to our Italian fashion, wears a loose bodied gown. There is somewhat in it. I have a trick. May chance discover it. A pretty one. I have bought some apricots. The first are spring yields. Enter Antonio and Delio, talking together apart. Before we move into this, well, there are only two discussions happening here. One, Bosola is giving information after information after information. You find that Bosola has a lot of knowledge about how a courtier must be to be taken as good by people, and how he must act. So he knows. There are two comparisons in this very dialogue that he talks about, one that he has with Castricio and the one he has with the old lady. Can you compare the two and tell me How can these be taken as binaries?
Mm, समझ नहीं आया मुझे.
What he gives as an advice to Show, and the advice that he, not the advice, and the commentary he makes on the old lady, the two can be compared with each other. How do you think the two can be compared?
How a man should behave in court and how a woman should. Mm, maybe.
Think. Like I told you yesterday, when you begin questioning first, what do you put forth? Question marks. How? Why?
Question mark.
When? How can we compare the two? There's the use of the word good face here when he is speaking to Show.
Hmm. You have a reasonable good face for it already.
Yeah. And then this a talk about the face continues when he talks to the old lady.
Yes, ma'am.
Then next is that how Castricio will be taken by people, which means he is speaking to Castricio, giving him lessons how he must behave, how he must look, what he must do. A lesson on behavior, and then how people will take you as a good or a bad person. And a similar commentary to the old lady upon what she does to her face, making itself, making her face up, or the painting how she wants to look good, and then how people take her.
Hmm.
So on the one hand, we can take it as his commentary or his lecturing a man and a woman. Okay. And secondly, we can take it as being binaries. One where he is lecturing a man on his behavior, how he must behave. But still, even in this dialogue, he tells him how to put up an appearance, how he will, how he can only feign to be what he is not. For example, smile upon a prisoner when you are about to hang him, whereas when you are actually about to let a person out, you frown upon them. Feigning, feigning. But the painting that the women do on their faces is not taken as something good for him, for a man. But putting up an appearance like that by Castricio is considered to be good by him. This is how you can be taken as
Double
an
standards. Hmm.
eminent courtier. But if you put up appearances through your face, these appearances will not help you to be taken as a good one, but these paintings are something that he will call, again, plastic is the word that can be used for both of them. Castricio playing that part is plastic, it's not organic, because he
Hmm.
smiles at the one he's going to hang and he frowns at the person he's going to let go. These are plastic emotions. Rough cast praise to your plastic. But this is what plastic it is, what Basola is um, uh, asking Castricio to be like. Then, secondly, he disregards women who try to paint their faces up, right? But even emotions are being painted on the face of Castricio. Castricio is painting these emotions on his face, putting up an appearance. But when a female does it, he disregards a female like that because he associates the commodities that she uses for making herself up as objects of witchcraft. Why does he associate it with witchcraft?
Um. मतलब क्योंकि वो इनमें जरूर विचक्राफ्ट के साथ रहेगा। पता नहीं।
Because she makes use of this very painted up face of hers, made up face of hers, to curse men into her love, to be the whore, to be the prostitute who serves men by means of her witchcraft, the witchcraft of looking beautiful. Do you get my point?
Yes, ma'am, I know.
The next, what he says is that I do wonder you do not loathe yourselves. How is it that you cannot hate yourself with all that painting on your face? But how is it that people like Castricio should not hate themselves to be eminent courtiers as they are by feigning emotions? Who should hate themselves more? An old lady with a painted face or a courtier who puts up an appearance? So, what
Okay.
you find here is again, you have to judge the character of Bussola in him. He says he loathes, not just hates. It's the comparative degree of hate. He doesn't just hate; he loathes women like that because he says, "I would sooner eat a dead pigeon taken from the sole of the feet of one sick of the plague." Sick of plague means somebody he should have been distancing from. Not just that. From his feet. Food taken from his feet means something very dirty, filthy. Not just that, but even if it is a dead pigeon, he's just emphasizing the fact that the dirtiest of the dirty is better than you. Then kiss one of you means whores like you. Fasting. Fasting?
Bad breath होना.
No. Why would you say that?
Annotations में था इसके.
Or okay, we can associate it with the dead pigeon that smells very bad, a rotten pigeon. And that is better than one of you who is fasting, but can also be associated with one, a woman of faith. You as a woman of faith, but who is painted up.
Mhm.
Here are two of you whose sin of your youth is the very patrimony of the physician. Whose
Two
sin,
of you. ये Duchess को बोल रहा है.
no,
मतलब Duchess
old lady.
and old lady.
Acha, acha, the two of you. Here are two of you whose sin of your youth is the very patrimony of the physician, makes him renew his foot cloth with the spring, change his high priced courtesan with the fall of the leaf. For now, what you see on stage, there is Bosola, the old lady. The rest of them have left. On stage are just left Bosola, old lady, and Castricio is still there. Castricio is still there. Now he talks about the youth of these two people. Here are two of you whose sin of your youth is the very patrimony of the physician, makes him renew his footcloth with the spring and change his high priced courtesan with the fall of the leaf. I do wonder you do not loathe yourself. Observe my meditation now. So, in these lines, what you find is that these two people, what is their sin of youth? What can their sin of youth be? Both of them. I told you to compare the two. You already did a comparison of how Bosola takes these two people. Castricio, we do not know if Castricio is old, but in this line it does appear that he is old as well. Here are the two of you whose sin of your youth is the very patrimony of the physician. Patrimony means a physician makes his money out of people like you. He already,
मैम
yeah,
इसका पेंटिंग वाला मतलब sin of youth.
sin of youth that
ओ
she has lost her beauty.
और नीचे Castroccio को लिख दें your wife gone to Rome you two couple to get you to well at Luca to recover your eggs. uh, I'm not sure recover your eggs maybe if Castruccio is old and उसको body ache होगी लेकिन लूका में जो वो वेल्स है वो hot warm वो ना springs जैसे है तो maybe he's referring to that. I don't know शायद पता नहीं मुझे दिमाग में आया.
Yeah, so we already know he gives him some prescriptions that he must follow to be a good courtier. But what you see is that he gives prescriptions that are something that have been followed from the tradition. Eating meat seldom. Jeffrey also says, rather it will make me have a good stomach to quarrel. Do not sup all night. Raat mein khana. It will beget you an admirable wit. If you do not eat in the night, it will help you grow in your wit. Rather, it would make me have a good stomach to quarrel. Castriccio is a man who wants to eat more. This may be the reason that he is not keeping in good health. For they say your roaring boys eat meat seldom, often eat meat, and that makes them so valiant. So he has been following that? Maybe. But how shall I know whether the people take me for an eminent fellow? So it should affect his eating habits. The rest you can ask him to do. You can ask him change his behavior, change smile or not smile. He would do that. And when you said that you have to change your behavior, he says, I would be a merry president. But once you tell him that he has to curb his appetite, he doesn't want to do that. How shall I know? Now just tell me, how will I know that people like me? I will teach you a trick to know it. Give out, you lie, a dying, and if you hear the common people curse you, be sure you are taken for one of the prime nightcaps. Nightcaps?
Lawyers, chief lawyers.
It's the skull cap that's worn by the sergeants. So you will be the nightcaps are these caps that are worn by the sergeants. So or even the legal headgear that they wear, that's also called a nightcap. So what Castratio says here is that
He has to pretend to die. तो फिर जो लोग देख के उसको बोलेंगे उससे उसको समझ आएगा कि if he is an eminent fellow.
I lost the line from my book.
Line 20.
Yeah. I'll teach you a trick to know it. Give out, you lie, a dying, and if you hear the common people curse, you be sure you are taken for one of the prime nightcaps. Nightcaps again can also mean lawyers. So what he says is that if you see that people are cursing you, if you feign death, again feigning, and this will tell you that you are taken as a good lawyer. Means a lawyer is never appreciated by people. And if you are not appreciated by people, this means, according to Basola, this means you are a good lawyer. The opposite is
Mm.
true for lawyers and not for rulers. This is what he is talking only about lawyers. And then what follows is okay, what I was talking about is how can you compare the two? How are the two that have had the sin of their youth? Sin of his youth can also be the kind of judgments he has passed so far, or as he has been a a a man who would wear this nightcap, who has an official business, and the way he has been treating people, maybe this is his sin of youth. But when he makes use of this word physician, it tells you that something is associated with their health. So he says that because of you guys, people like you who have been sinning in their youth and are now taken by diseases in their old age, it makes a doctor renew his foot cloth, which is the cloth that is used on horsebacks. He changes it every spring because you people keep giving him money. The money keeps going to them and changes his high priced courtesan. He even keeps a high priced courtesan. I told you that many ideas that are given in this text by Webster have already been used by Ephraim in the rower. So this high priced courtesan is also something already used in um, the rower. So courtesan is a prostitute. With the fall of the leaf means this is again the change of the season, fall of the leaf, autumn. Autumn comes and he changes his courtesan. He doesn't keep a courtesan more than a year. He doesn't keep a footcloth more than a year. I do wonder you do not loathe yourselves. Observe my meditation now. What I'm doing now is a meditation. Now listen to me carefully. What thing is in this outward form of man? Outward form of man means both of them are doing the same thing, keeping up outward appearances. To be beloved, only to be loved by men.